Will we see Honda and Yamaha get concessions for the 2024 MotoGP season? Now that is the current talking point in MotoGP as we have entered the summer break. We had Carlos Ezpeleta tell Radio Catalunya that it is something that Dorna are looking at, as they're trying their hardest to get Honda and Yamaha the support so they can become competitive again in a faster way. To think that Honda and Yamaha need concessions is quite something, as for many years they were the two that were dominating the sport. It is something that I think that can be agreed with the other teams, as Honda and Yamaha in the past were very open to giving other manufacturers concessions that included Ducati, Aprilia, KTM. Gigi Dall'Igna has also said it is right to help the teams that are in difficulty, but it has to be done fairly. I've seen a lot of split opinion on social media for this. Some people think it's right, some people don't. Honda and Yamaha in the past were very considerate under the old concession rules that allowed KTM, Aprilia, and of course Ducati to use concessions to speeding up engine development, tyre testing, more testing time essentially around the track throughout a season. And Honda and Yamaha were the top two at the time, and they were very considerate in allowing these teams to essentially catch up to them. Now it is true that KTM, Suzuki, Ducati enjoyed benefits of concessions in the past. It has a lot of technical advantages, and we've seen, especially over the last 2 seasons, that the European manufacturers are bringing updates more regularly than the Japanese manufacturers. I don't know if it's due to how the Japanese manufacturers are working at the minute, or if the knock-on due to COVID and the production rate of things has slowed that down, but we've definitely seen a decrease in terms of Japanese output, and then for European manufacturers we have seen a massive improvement in terms of ride height devices, aero packages, you name it. Anything that you've seen on an Aprilia, a KTM or a Ducati, pretty much the Japanese teams have tried to copy it a couple of months down the line. And this, I think, is where we need to look at the state that Honda and Yamaha are actually in. Their bikes don't look really any different from how they looked maybe 4 years ago. Yes, Honda changed a few things at the beginning of 2022, but if you looked at the Yamaha from 2019 to the Yamaha now, taking away some aero tweaks, the bikes are essentially the same, and the engines aren't much different. That appears to be where Honda and Yamaha are losing their development race. It's the engine output. Honda seems too aggressive, Yamaha seems too aggressive that it can't lay down the power enough, so it can't generate enough spin, therefore they have no grip. It's kind of a similar story. Do I think it will happen? Yes. People I've seen arguing say that Ducati never got any help. Well, Ducati did get help. 2014, 2015, they were allowed to essentially test as much as they wanted, and then when they got their results in 2016, their victories that they got at the Austrian Grand Prix and the Malaysian Grand Prix, their concessions went, and from 2017 onwards, Ducati have been at the front of MotoGP. Yes, I know it might not seem fair, and it's quite unthinkable that Honda and Yamaha, two of the biggest names in the sport, are getting concessions essentially. But, I think for the good of the sport, it needs to happen. We can't have Fabio Quartararo, Marquez, Joan Mir, Alex Rins all struggling in MotoGP. Names that are accustomed to being at the front. Their machinery isn't letting them compete. And I think that whether you are for it or against it, it needs to be better for the show. And the product needs to have everyone who deserves to be fighting at the front there. And I think that is the key that Dorna are looking at, because they need to have their big names at the front. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, and we will see you next time.